On the evening of September 12th, around 8:45 p.m., residents from Weifang, Rizhao, and nearby areas in Shandong witnessed a rare celestial event. A streak of bright light suddenly cut through the night sky, followed by intense flashes and loud booms that caused panic among many locals. In videos filmed by citizens, the event started with a fireball streaking quickly across the sky. Its trajectory was clear, showing a parabolic path, and its speed far exceeded that of a typical airplane. Shortly after, another glowing object rapidly ascended from the ground and collided with the fireball in midair, causing a dazzling white flash that lit up the night sky. Two thunderous booms followed, with some windows shaking from the shockwave. Witnesses on social media described the scene as if an unidentified flying object was intercepted and hit. Several media outlets, including First Scene and Jimu News, also reported on the incident. However, the authorities have not provided a clear explanation of the phenomenon yet. Some online users were amazed by how rare the event was, noted it had been filmed by multiple people. This led to a lot of speculation. What exactly was this? Could it be an actual military conflict? Some speculated it was related to scientific or military activities. Was it a drone spying on a military base and got shot down? Could it have been a missile defense test? Many questioned why the authorities had not officially clarified the situation. On September 13th, the Weifang Emergency Management Bureau told mainland media that it had received no information on the matter. As of now, there has been no official report, and many mainstream media outlets have not disclosed further details. Chinese state media, Sina News, published an article suggesting that this looked more like a missile interception test. The incoming target, interceptor, and the explosion in the sky would have created an effect of the fireball colliding with a silver light. Some users searched the Maritime Bureau's official website but couldn't find specific details. The event has raised further speculation. Could this be a precursor to war, or is it an internal CCP conflict? On September 11th, that Japan and the U.S. had launched Resolute Dragon 25, a joint military exercise set to last until September 25th. The large-scale outdoor drills are taking place across Kyushu, Okinawa, and Hokkaido, with approximately 12,000 Japanese soldiers and 19,000 U.S. Marines participating. Sources indicate Japan is also considering deploying the U.S. Navy's new anti-ship missile system, Gaki Island in Okinawa, likely to strengthen deterrence against China. Some analysts speculate the missile in Shandong may have come from the sea. On September 16th, China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs demanded that the U.S. and Japan remove this missile system quickly. In response to the U.S.-Japan military exercises, China also conducted its own military drills. According to the Chinese Maritime Safety Administration, the Huludao Maritime Safety Administration issued a navigation warning, stating that military exercises will take place in parts of the Bohai Sea from September 15th to 16th, between 8:30 a.m. and 6:30 p.m. each day, and ships are prohibited from entering the area. The Huangshi Maritime Safety Administration also issued a navigation warning for military training activities to take place on September 17th from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. and on September 18th from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. This will occur on the waterway 5 kilometers upstream and 3 kilometers downstream of the Xieshui River entrance in the lower reaches of the Yangtze River, with ships prohibited from entering the training waters during these times. If the joint military exercises between Japan and the U.S. are considered a threat, then the recent U.S. stance on Taiwan's uncertain status can be seen as a direct declaration of war against the CCP. On September 14th, an AIT spokesperson responded to media inquiries, condemning the CCP's distortion of historical documents, such as the Cairo Declaration, to support its coercion of Taiwan. The spokesperson emphasized that Beijing's narrative is entirely incorrect. While the 1943 Cairo Declaration and the 1945 Potsdam Declaration mentioned Taiwan being returned to China, they held no legal significance and did not determine Taiwan's final political status. The 1951 San Francisco Peace Treaty, which Japan signed, is the only legally binding document with international law standing. However, because the CCP was involved in the Korean War and could not sign, and because Britain opposed the nationalist government representing China, the declaration simply stated that Japan renounces sovereignty over Taiwan and the Penghu Islands without clarifying whether Taiwan should be handed over to the Republic of China or the People's Republic of China. AIT stated that the CCP's propaganda claiming Taiwan has always been an inseparable part of China is part of Beijing's broader efforts to isolate Taiwan internationally and limit other nations' sovereign choices regarding interactions with Taiwan. Following this, the U.S. Department echoed AIT's statement in an email reply to Taiwan's United News Daily, emphasizing once again that these documents did not decide Taiwan's final political status. After the 80th anniversary victory celebration of the Chinese People's War of Resistance against Japanese aggression, the Taiwanese DPP government criticized Beijing for claiming that the Communist Party led the anti-Japanese war and advocated for post-war sovereignty over Taiwan. This sparked another debate on the interpretation of the war between the two sides of the Taiwan Strait. International relations have worsened since the CCP's political show following the September 3rd military parade. The global community is now reevaluating the CCP's actions. In Europe, actions have also been taken. On September 12th, Polish authorities suddenly announced the closure of all border crossings with Belarus, including road and rail passages, citing national security concerns. This decision severely impacted the China-Europe Railway Express, halting operations on the Polish section and triggering a chain reaction throughout European supply chains. Around 300 trains already en route were stranded at the Belarusian border, with goods such as electronics, auto parts, and textile materials unable to be delivered. This sudden border closure was triggered by a report on September 10th of nearly 20 Russian drones entering Polish airspace, as well as the joint military exercises planned by Russia and Belarus in the border area. Despite China's calls for restraint, Poland maintained its decision to close the border for national security reasons. As Europe locks its borders and the US and Japan strengthen military cooperation, China's already strained international diplomatic relations have been further overshadowed. Feeling unable to justify its actions to domestic supporters, the CCP has begun to bully the Philippines. On September 16th, just a week after the CCP unilaterally declared Huangyan Island an ecological protection zone, Chinese Coast Guard vessels fired water cannons at Philippine vessels supplying aid to Filipino fishermen. The CCP claimed that one of the Philippine ships intentionally rammed a Chinese Coast Guard vessel, a statement the Philippines rejected, calling it another example of China's false information and propaganda. In terms of ship tonnage, China's Coast Guard ships are significantly larger than Philippine vessels, highlighting China's clear pattern of bullying weaker opponents while avoiding confrontation with stronger ones. On September 12th, US and UK naval ships passed through the Taiwan Strait, and the Chinese Eastern Theater Command merely deployed air and naval forces to monitor and respond without taking any further aggressive action. Some also linked this incident to events prior to the 93rd anniversary military parade. On August 11, 2025, a patrol ship of the Philippine Coast Guard and Chinese Navy destroyers, along with the China Coast Guard vessels, were engaged in operations near Huangyan Island. During this time, China's Coast Guard ship Nanyu collided at high speed with the Chinese Navy's 052D class destroyer Guilin. This was a rare and severe accident for the Chinese Navy. Commentators have focused on the coordination between the Chinese Navy and Coast Guard, but the truth behind this incident is believed to be that Xi Jinping's faction in the armed police controlled the Coast Guard ship, provoking foreign military forces and sparking a potential conflict. Meanwhile, the Navy, under the control of Zhang Youxia, intentionally rammed the Coast Guard vessel, not as a mistake, but as part of internal military struggles to avoid war. Multiple sources revealed that after Xi Jinping collapsed from a stroke during the third plenary session last year, Zhang Youxia moved quickly, contacting CCP elders through Liu Yuan to seize control of the military. Subsequently, key figures such as Miao Hua and He Weidong were arrested. Xi Jinping attempted several counterattacks, which led to the premature death of former vice chairman Shi Qiliang and the investigation of former vice chairman Fang Changlong. One of Xi's latest attempts was to provoke a conflict with the Philippines in the South China Sea to regain control of military power. Insiders claim that during the South China Sea incident, a destroyer from the Southern Fleet ordered the Coast Guard ship to cease chasing a Philippine patrol vessel, but the Coast Guard refused. Eventually, a Chinese Navy destroyer had to intercept the vessel at high speed, resulting in 1 death and 2 injuries. This event has already been secretly reported within the Chinese military. Was the missile interception incident on the night of September 12th related to Xi Jinping's latest counterattack? Analysts believe that Zhang Youxia and Liu Yuan's primary mission is to restore the Central Military Commission's functions, the original 7 military districts, and eliminate Xi Jinping's controversial system of 5 war zones. This move aims to reverse Xi's creation of a dysfunctional military leadership structure meant to maintain his control over the armed forces. After regaining control, Zhang Youxia's first task will be to reform the military and purge Xi's influence, focusing more on internal military restructuring than on external conflicts. However, some disagree with the idea that Xi Jinping has lost military control, pointing out that there has been no official announcement or public statement from Zhang Youxia. However, media analyst Su Xiaohe noted that Xi's failure to wear a military uniform or salute during the 93rd anniversary parade was highly unusual, and a sign that Xi Jinping may no longer hold the title of CMC chairman. There are also sources claiming that Xi Jinping's loss of military power has already been communicated to lower-ranking military officers. The CCP has always adhered to the principle, political power grows out of the barrel of a gun. Once Xi Jinping loses control of the military, it's only a matter of time before he loses other powers as well. Several months ago, an overseas journalist leaked information indicating that Xi Jinping would gradually relinquish power, with Premier Li Qiang, China's second-in-command, set to take over. This was not mere speculation. On September 10th, Xinhua published an article in which Li Qiang gave rare greetings to the nation's teachers, a role that Xi Jinping had previously exclusively undertaken. There are 2 more symbolic events that suggest Xi Jinping has lost power. Sources have revealed that Xi's close ally, Ma Xingrui's younger brother, and his personal secretary, Zhong Xiaojun, were taken away for investigation. Zhong, who had previously held a military position, was removed and investigated, further confirming that Xi's power has weakened. On April 3, 2024, Hong Kong's Tong News exclusively reported that Zhong Xiaojun had left the Central Military Commission office and was assigned to the National Defense University of China as a political commissar, overseeing freshman admissions. Analysts view this as a demotion under the guise of a promotion. During the CCP's 3rd plenary session in 2024, rumors circulated about Xi Jinping's health issues, and it was reported that Vice Chairman of the Central Military Commission, Zhang Youxia, had gained control of the military with the backing of CCP elders. This led observers to realize that Zhong Xiaojun's reassignment from the CMC office was an indication that Xi had lost control of the military. Zhong was known to be Xi's personal secretary, having been brought from Zhejiang to Shanghai and then to Beijing before being assigned to the military. Now, Cai Shenkun has revealed that Zhong Xiaojun had completely retired from active duty, indicating another possible demotion. Ma Xingrui, who was implicated in more serious crimes than Zhong, had also been the subject of investigations. Anti-CCP social media personality Jiang Wenzheng disclosed in his program that the CCP's Central Commission for Discipline Inspection has gathered criminal evidence against Ma Xingrui. Additionally, Ma's brother, Ma Xingquan, was taken away by the CCDI, and his personal secretary, Li Guanglu, was also detained in front of him. Jiang Wang further exposed that Ma Xingrui's brother owned a company which is linked to Ma Xingrui's name, and that company was involved in illicit activities. It is rumored that Ma Xingrui was ordered to quickly transfer money to the CCDI's account and then retire to his hometown. Previously, on July 1st, Xinhua reported that Ma Xingrui, a current Politburo member, was no longer serving as the Xinjiang Party Secretary and had been reassigned. The previous Xinjiang Party secretaries, Duan Guo, had also been reassigned with no clear new roles, implying they were given honorary positions. Ma Xingrui, aged 66 and originally from Shandong, is rumored to be part of the faction connected to Xi Jinping's wife, Peng Liyuan. His wife, Rong Li, was taken by the CCDI for investigation in July. During Ma's tenure as Deputy Secretary of the Guangdong Provincial Party Committee, Shenzhen Party Committee, and Xinjiang Party Secretary, his wife allegedly used Peng Liyuan's name to amass wealth, including transferring over 7 billion yuan to family accounts in Canada and Singapore. This has now become a liability for Ma as CCP infighting intensifies. Cai Shenkun also disclosed that Ma Xingrui is cooperating with the CCDI in its investigation of his wife, and the investigation's results will have a direct impact on his political future. This explosion in the night sky over Shandong has sparked widespread attention. Whether it was a military test or spillover of internal power struggles, concerns are rising about regional security and global strategic dynamics. The US and Japan are conducting large-scale joint military exercises. Poland's closure of its border with Belarus has disrupted the Central European Rail Express. and tensions in the South China Sea and Taiwan issues are once again escalating. These factors combined create a volatile tipping point for both East Asia and Eurasia. In this context, any political turmoil within the CCP is likely to be interpreted as a strategic signal by the international community. The fire in the Shandong sky, therefore, is not just a local event, but a significant symbol of the stability of the CCP regime. The outside world fears that if the CCP uses external conflicts to distract from internal crises, it could accelerate strategic imbalances in the Asia-Pacific region and globally. Thus, this event has become not just a political enigma for the CCP, but also a mirror reflecting the evolution of the world order. The fire in the Shandong sky may very well herald a new geopolitical storm, much like the shot heard around the world at Lexington in 1775, which marked the start of the American Revolutionary War. At the 93rd anniversary military parade, Xi Jinping remarked, "Some predict that humans may live to 150 years in this century, but without power, living to 150 would be in vain. Xi's dream has shattered."